Hello everyone and welcome to our weekly overview video. Before we start, please take some time to read our disclaimer. The analysis in this video are my personal view only and not financial advices. The analysis are for educational purposes only for you to learn how to use RTL indicator. In part 1 we will cover DXY, USD pairs, AUD and CAD pairs, and in the part 2 we'll cover the remaining JPY, Euro and GBP pairs. As usual, we start with the DXY. As I mentioned last week, I'm bullish on the DXY as long as it's still above this orange trend line. So on Friday, price broke below its last swing standing, which was also a pattern, a wedge pattern with a divergence and a minor rejection zone around here. So now we are overall bearish on this one until it reaches this rejection zone here, which is a strong demand area, and this rejection or retest of this long-term trend line. Let's check gold now. As I mentioned last week, we were waiting for a candle close below this last swing standing to sell gold, even though price broke below this minor last swing standing of this symmetrical triangle pattern, but I didn't enter as I told you I am waiting for a conservative entry on gold at this long-term trend line break. So what happened on Friday? The XY went weak, so it makes sense that gold spiked up. We also had a rich TL bomb here. As you can see, this explosive move is after this rich TL bomb break. However, for now I'm not thinking long on gold, as it's sitting now at a very strong rejection area in gray. As you can see on daily time frame, 1 2 3 4 5 6, a very strong area between 1300 and 1310. So I am personally waiting for a break above this zone, and our next zone would be this zone in blue. So for now I'm waiting for a break above this zone to consider buying gold. And we also have a supply zone here. As you can see, very big movements from it, so we can expect some reactions here. So let's wait until a break above 1310 and look for objective buy setups to buy, or maybe we can get a new red dot around here to make our new last swing standing and enter on its break downward. Now we have EURUSD. As I mentioned last week, I'm waiting for a candle close above this last swing standing 1.14.1 to buy this one, as we have a divergence rejection zone in red and like a trio retest here. As you can see, 1 2 3, and this objective trend line break. EURUSD was a bit tricky last week. As you can see, very big spikes, very strong movements, down up down, and then went up as the XY got weak. For now I'm staying out from EURUSD as the risk reward ratio is a bit large. What I mean is that the stop loss is large, so our risk reward ratio is bad. As you can see here, our 1 hour is above this long-term trend line in brown. So for now I'm waiting for a better objective buy setup around here, or I'm only interested in buying EURUSD if it breaks above 1.15 and this long-term trend line, or we will be looking for sell opportunities around here, objective ones for sure. USD JPY is still doing fine as per our long-term entry in blue, and it's still above our blue zone, so it's still bullish overall. For those who didn't code this long-term entry, can look for re-entry opportunities around here. Its trigger would be a rejection candlestick pattern or an objective buy setup. For those who code this short-term entry, should have their stop loss around entry if they are not kicked out here. And for aggressive traders, can look for entry opportunities at a candle close above this red level. Your entry would be around here and your stop loss should be below this swing. So we've got 3 entry opportunities on USD JPY, the blue one on the retest, the red one on the break above the red level, and if you are still in the short-term trade, keep holding this one in orange. USD CAD. As I mentioned last week, I'm not entering this short-term buy setup as I am overall bearish on this one. We've got an entry opportunity on M30 last week, a channel, a divergence, and a rejection zone in blue. For those who didn't got it, can look for re-entry opportunities around this last swing standing or blue zone, or look for objective sell setups around here. So I'm still overall bearish on USD CAD, especially that it's below our blue zone and we've got a big momentum candle engulfing like previous 10 candles. Our first minor rejection zone at this level in gray, and then our strong rejection zone as this zone in red. NZDUSD. On daily we have a momentum candle engulfing the last candles and almost breaking above our last swing high. However, I'm still short on this one as it's still below our blue zone and symmetrical triangle. So I'll be looking for short setups around here, maybe on this trend line retest and this blue zone. If we've got a trigger on this trend line, maybe if we have a third touch, blue touch around here to make it our last swing standing, we will enter on its break downward. On H1, NZDUSD was a bit tricky. It hit our stop loss last week around here. So for now, I'm waiting for an objective setup, sell setup to form, maybe on H1 or on H4. GBPUSD. Our long-term entry is doing just fine, now running with about plus 1.5 R, so you should have your stop loss around entry. Now it's sitting at a strong rejection area in blue, so we may expect kind of retest around our long-term trend line in brown before GBP can trade any higher. So if we zoom to H1, we can look for short setups around here to catch this retest. We already have divergence forming now, not completed yet, and a trend line, objective trend line is forming as well. So now we are waiting for a new blue dot to form around here to consider it our last swing standing and enter on its break downward. As for now, we have one confluence rejection area, second one is forming, and the third one is also forming. USD/CHF. On daily, it's still trading inside this giant symmetrical triangle and now sitting at this rejection zone in blue. So we were looking for short setups around here. We had an entry opportunity on M30 last week as we had many confluences, double top, objective trend line, and a divergence. Our entry was a candle close below our last swing standing. Our stop loss is a little bit above 1.0 as it's a very strong round number. Trade now is running with about plus 0.5 R, and we'll move our stop loss to entry at plus 1 R. If this trade hit our stop loss or break even, then we will look for re-entry opportunities around here. We will look for objective sell setups as it's a very strong area here, as we have two confluences already, this long-term trend line in brown and our blue zone. AUDUSD, our last USD pair. On daily, we have a big momentum candle engulfing the previous candles, pushing price higher above our red zone again. That's a very good signal that the bulls are in control now. On H1, we had an entry opportunity like 2 weeks ago, but hit our stop loss on entry if you got it. So now we are looking for other buy opportunities as price is still above our red zone. We have three confluences here, our red zone, a divergence, and this channel in red. Our entry as usual is a candle close above this last swing standing, which is here in this case. Our stop loss is the swing from the other side, and we always target a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. AUDJPY. On daily, we have a momentum candle engulfing the previous three candles, but it didn't close aggressively above the last swing high. Anyway, as I mentioned last week, I'm only interested in buying this one above the red zone. So as long as price is still below the red zone, I'm thinking short on this one. Here we have an opportunity on H1, a channel in red, a divergence, and a rejection zone in red. So we are still waiting for a candle close below our last swing standing here to sell AUDJPY. and we will look for buy opportunities when it breaks above our red zone. AUD CAD, we are still holding a sell on H1, running around entry now. We entered because we had this divergence, symmetrical triangle in red, minor rejection zone in gray, and rejection of this long-term trend line in purple. AUD CAD is overall bearish as long as it's still below this long-term trend line in purple. And we will consider buying this one after a candle close above this rejection zone in gray. AUD NZD, price is still trading around our red zone. We had an entry opportunity here last week because we had an objective channel in red, divergence, and a rejection zone in gray. Our entry was a candle close above this last swing standing, and this trade almost reached plus 2R last week. I personally didn't enter this one as it was around or below our red zone. So for now, I'm waiting for this setup on H4 and daily, a candle close above this last swing standing of this objective trend line, which also would be a candle close above our red zone, purple trend line, and brown trend line. AUDCHF, on daily we have a big momentum candle engulfing the last two candles, pushing price away from our red zone. On H1 we had an entry opportunity here like 2 weeks ago because of this objective trend line, divergence, and rejection zone in gray. It's now running with about plus 1R. And last week we had this short opportunity because of this objective channel in red, divergence, and this minor rejection zone in gray. But I personally didn't enter because, as you know by far, we only look for long opportunities above our red zone and sell opportunities only around our blue zone. So for now, I'm keep holding the long-term entry if you caught it, and we will look for short opportunities around this red zone and this trio retest, as you can see on H4. CAD JPY, on daily we have a big momentum candle closing above our previous swing high. On H1 we had an entry opportunity because of this inverse head and shoulders, rejection area in red, and objective trend line in orange. Then price gave us more confidence by forming a symmetrical triangle and rich TL bomb setup. Our last pair for part 1 is going to be CAD CHF. We had a buy opportunity around here like 2 weeks ago. It hit our TP plus 2R last week, and then we've got a short opportunity here, a sell opportunity because of this objective trend line in red, divergence, and rejection area here in gray, and this long-term trend line rejection. This trade hit our stop loss last week because CAD went strong. For now, I'm going to watch the reaction around this zone. As you can see, very strong zone, many touches in between, and we'll be looking for objective sell opportunities around here, below it, and objective buy opportunities if price breaks above it.